This is W Hunt Supply Hound Podcast.
That's good. You know, you could be on radio.
I want to.
Do you? Would that be like the coolest thing ever?
I want to listen to my podcast
You want to do your own podcast?
and listen to it.
You just want to hear yourself? Was it crazy to put the headphones on and everything sounds different?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's weird. It was weird for Dad because I listened to myself a lot, like way too much.
Hey, Dad.
Hey, what?
What do you know about dogs that I don't?
Well, I don't know. I don't know, bud. Sometimes when you think you know dogs, they do something that makes you realize that you don't know anything and you're always learning. What you need to know about dogs, the number one thing is you can always learn something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And patience. I'll say patience too.
What's it like hunting them on foxes?
It's pretty fun. It's fun because we get to see a lot of them. That was pretty cool. You guys got to see one, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But you know what gets me is every time that we go somewhere, your big thing with the dogs and what surprises you, every time you say, they listen. You say that every time.
Yeah.
Why? What do you think that they just listen better when we're hunting than when we're at home, or?
No, but I didn't know Angus would do that. Most puppies can't do that.
Yeah. Well, Daddy spent a lot of time with Angus.
Yeah.
Maybe we should talk about what we're doing with that puppy.
Yeah.
Because you did some scent drags with him, huh? Yeah. And we've spent a lot of time just getting to know him.
Mhm.
Can't put that on.
Yeah. Here, let me get these on, little bro. There you go. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay.
You hear me?
Yeah, say hi to everybody.
Hi.
All right, we're going to put you on mute for a second because Colin's got some questions.
What?
Colin has some questions.
So?
So sit down and wait your turn.
Why?
Connor, I'm going to turn it off in just a second.
Okay.
Thank you. So, we had to spend a lot of time with Angus, right?
Yeah.
And we spent a lot of time when we were feeding him when we first got him. What was Dad doing? Was he always with his food? Did you notice that?
No.
See, you don't notice some of the things that happen.
He was never always with his food.
Not now that he's older, but when he first came home, Dad fed him by hand every day.
Fed who?
Angus.
Oh.
You just didn't see me doing it. Because I wanted him to think that I was like a good thing, right? I want him to think he's my buddy. Because when we go out hunting out there in the middle of nowhere, and I want him to come to me,
Yeah.
I want him to think, hey, that guy's pretty cool. He's usually got food with him. I think I'm going to listen and I'm going to come to him.
And then he'll give me food.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And eventually, once you do that enough and they're good at it every time, not like every couple times and sometimes they just don't listen. When they do it every time, then they're probably, if you stay on top of it, they're going to do that forever. And you don't even have to give them the treat. Once they hit that point, you don't have to give them the treats anymore. But what was the first time you said that? When we were fox hunting, right?
What do you mean?
About the dogs listening.
Yeah, they listen to you really good.
What happened?
You just jumped out of the truck, went to the side of the bank because they couldn't find it, and they went straight up the hill.
Yep.
Yeah, because it was my birthday and I wanted to go fox hunting.
Yes, it was Bro's birthday because he wanted to go fox hunting.
I remember.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's why you do it, because I was able to help the dogs because they came up the hill and they thought the fox was running on the road. So they'd run down the road and run up the road. But I could have wasted a bunch of time. And how fast was that fox running?
Right up the trail, came down.
Like super fast, right in the same spot. So if I would have waited for them to run 100 yards that way and 100 yards that way, they would have lost that much time and that fox gets farther and farther ahead. And then if they make any mistakes, it's even farther. And next thing you know, they're never going to catch it. So sometimes when you do that with your dogs, you can holler at them and they'll come up and they'll go right where you point to them. And they are trusting you because you're partners.
Mhm.
So we help each other that way. But today was pretty cool because we got to holler for Angus, which is the puppy we've been working on.
Yeah, I've never heard you holler for a dog.
You've never have to hear me holler for one, Because it's different than when I just talk to them. I talk to my dogs, but when I call them, it's very different.
And
What
why
did
do
you think when you heard me do it the first time? I didn't even warn you,
It sounded like you were kind of screaming.
Like kind of screaming?
Like, yeah!
Is that
Like-
what it sounded like?
You sounded like this. Yeah!
It sounds
Yeah.
like you were calling you in an elk.
Yeah, it sounded like I was bugling an elk.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit. People make fun of Daddy for the way he calls his dogs sometimes.
Why?
Because somebody told me I was going to scare someone because I sounded like Bigfoot. That's what they said. I don't know if it's true. I've never met Bigfoot, but
Nah.
I wouldn't think so.
But what if Bigfoot walked right up to us?
Man, I don't know. I don't know what I'd do. He's supposed to be huge. He's got to be bigger than me.
He's like big as a full size. He's bigger than a gorilla, a full size human, like about 2 times your size. Well, 1 more time your size, bigger than you.
Really? I don't know what the dogs would do with a Bigfoot. I'll bet they'd be scared. Or they'd really like it.
If they really liked it, they'd chase him all night long.
We'd never catch him. They say that he can just vanish. Maybe that's what Daddy was chasing all those years that we never put it in a tree. There were lots of nights we didn't see anything in a tree. Maybe it was Bigfoot. You never know. And he just vanished.
Why does he do that?
I don't know. I'm not a
Well-
Bigfoot expert, but I know some guys that do a really cool podcast, and they talk about it on there.
Cool. Or maybe he got too far ahead. The dogs couldn't see him and slipped in a little hole.
It very could be. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
Really crazy.
We'll see. I don't know. Angus, he might have been chasing Bigfoot the way he just stayed out there. He was hunting. He was looking. He got thrown out of that race and just tried to find it back. And
I bet you I could have got punched in the stomach by him.
by Bigfoot?
Yeah, and I bet that would hurt.
I think you've been talking to Heath too much.
I have been.
You're Bigfoot, buddy. So
Yeah.
what was really cool about Colin Angus? Because he's just a puppy, right?
Him listening and you holler.
I'll teach you how to do it. Because when you holler for Dad's dogs, that's how you're going to
Like
have
this?
to.
Yeah.
That's pretty close. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
We tried. He did a good job today. He didn't make it around, but he did good.
Started it, and at least he didn't go back to the truck.
At least he did not go back to the truck. He's done a really good job about not coming back to the truck. He only came back when we called him, bro.
He was a really good boy.
He was a good boy.
Most puppies don't listen.
I know. That's why you got to spend lots of time. That's why Dad says you're not ready for a hound dog puppy of your own. You can help me with mine because it takes so much work. You got so much other stuff with your pigs.
How many years till I can get one?
You know, bud, there's not a year on it. When we know that you're ready, we'll know.
When Mom get hers.
Mom and I didn't.
Mom never got a hound dog.
Oh yeah, she did. Your mom's one of the reasons Daddy had blue ticks for a long time. Did you know that?
No.
So Daddy wanted to get hounds, and Mom wanted to keep showing dogs because she showed all the St. Bernards. And AKC, the American Kennel Club, they just recognized blue ticks as a breed so we could finally start showing them. So that's why Dad got a blue tick partially, was so that we could show her. And your mom did all the shows with them, and she used to go bear hunting with me.
One time I showed Benny all by myself, and I got a huge prize.
Yeah. Yep. And your grandparents owned a blue tick that won a lot of big prizes too, from that fancy dog show on TV.
Yeah, I remember. Cooter.
Yeah, Cooter.
Yeah, Cooter.
Those have two.
Cooter was Henry's brother.
These have two in there.
Yeah. And Ralph was Henry's son.
Yep. / brother. It was weird. You don't learn about that till way down the road. You're not ready to breed dogs. So did you have any other questions, Colin?
Yeah. One thing. How'd you make Rose that good of a dog?
We're not supposed to give that secret out, bud.
Yeah.
I didn't. Rose was a good dog. She was born a good dog.
Then don't put it on Facebook.
You've been listening to me too much, bud.
That happened.
Here's the thing with Rose. Rose came from some really good dogs. Her mom and her dad were both really good dogs. And she got enough of that natural instinct, and she already knew how to hunt, that by the time Dad got her, she had been with a couple of guys that really are good houndsmen and spent a lot of time, and she got to see a lot of stuff in a young age. And then when I got her, she was ready to go, and I just took her to the woods as much as I could. But I also spent a ton of time with her, and she's one of my best friends. Isn't she the one who's always hugging on me? She wants to jump up, and
Yeah.
she's a
If
sweetheart.
only if you didn't have kids, you could do that all day long.
Do what?
Take her out.
Go
I don't even
hunting?
care if you go for 7 days.
I know. But Dad's got lots of fun stuff at home.
But if you go for 7 days, you promise me you better take me.
7 days? That's a long time.
I'll camp for 7 days.
Will you?
I'll even.
In the snow?
Well, maybe not in the snow.
Here's what I would do if I was a lost kid and I had to sleep in the snow. I would just dig a hole and sleep in it all the time.
That's because you're crazy. How about you really want to go, huh? Because you don't get to go very often.
No.
But you get to you have been helping a lot with behind the scenes and helping with feeding and making sure they're taken care of.
I still can't believe I shoveled dog poop before you were even out of bed.
I know, it was the greatest thing ever. You know, the people
I
who
just smelt it and I was checking the dogs and it wasn't like new poop, it was all dried up.
from last night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know when you woke up and said that, I thought that was fantastic. You know, the podcast listeners have heard stories about you and cleaning dog poop. I'll tell you those stories when you're much older. But that's like the cool chore at the house, isn't it?
And the coolest thing I ever caught was that bobtailed coon big enough to make a carpet for my first raccoon.
Dude, yeah, you did. You want to tell people about the raccoon?
Yeah.
Tell them from the very beginning, because Colin has, I'm going to talk to the people, okay, Colin? Colin has started trapping on our property because he has chickens and turkeys and we have ducks. And we usually get a couple foxes a year in there, and we'll get a lot of possums usually.
Yeah.
So you caught a possum. That was the first thing you caught.
Yeah.
Yep. And then
we used to catch a bunch of possums.
I know there was a pile of them coming from the neighbors, I think.
Yeah.
So I was in Wisconsin the day before I came home.
And I set the trap like 3 days before you went, right?
Yep. And the day before I came home, you called and said,
"Hey, Dad, I caught a badger." Whoa. Back that whole story up. I got to start from the beginning.
Okay, you start.
Okay. The day before Dad came home, that morning I went out to check the trap, and I ran to the house and said, "Mom, I caught a badger," because the coon was all curled up and it was huge. And then Mom woke the coon up, and I was like, "That is a huge coon." But before she did that, she was like, "We'll make you a hat," and I'm like, "You can't make me a hat."
Why?
Because that thing had no tail.
Yeah, that is kind of a key part, huh?
And so I called Dad and said, "Hey, Dad, I got a huge bobtail, big enough to make it to a carpet. Big coon."
Yeah, and it was a monster. Big old boar.
Then we found this small hole and we started digging it up. And all we found were little bugs. Remember when you said, "Well, make sure it's not a coon"?
What are you talking about?
when we were on the phone and I said, and we found a hole that we're digging up, and you said, make sure there's not a coon in it.
Oh, yeah, the den log, right? Yeah.
There's
That's
always.
been there. That thing has been there since Dad moved in. And there's always been something that uses it for shelter every year.
Use what?
That hollowed log, the burrow out there by where you caught it.
Yeah, I think that's what the raccoons are using.
Yeah. Well, how many? You did some work before you caught the coon, though. Before we set the trap, you had your trail camera up, right? And
Yeah.
how many coons did you get in one camera picture?
Well, I saw a lot everywhere, about 4. And then one picture had all 4 eating.
Yep.
4 coons on our property.
Yep. 4 coons. And then we couldn't catch them at first. So we used something special, which we sell at W Hunting Supply. And I brought it home, and I didn't know if it would work for raccoons, but I'll tell you, it worked, didn't it? What's it smell like?
Blueberry.
And you can smell it from forever away, huh?
But we had a little help from the possum.
How
Remember
so?
when he went in the trap and you said, that's going to attract more animals in there?
It usually does, yep, because they don't smell you as much.
Man, Connor needs to start his trapping.
Well, this year it's Connor's year to trap. He's going to get the first one. We'll get him all set up.
That coon was heavy.
He was. He was very heavy.
Remember when I held him by the arms and made his head lay down?
I know, he was like as big as you were.
Yeah, he was like to here.
Well, maybe, I'll tell you what, Colin, it's getting late here. We're at the field trial. We've had a long day of running dogs. We've had a long day of judging, fishing. And you made lots of friends here.
Yeah.
Yep, but we probably better get going and get some dogs taken care of. And maybe next time we can do another hunting story from Colin Doobie.
Well, this is W Hunting Supply and How podcast. We hoped you liked listening to it. Goodbye.
Produce us. Go for it, bro.
Hi. A foot. Back up, back up, back up, back up.
Okay, you start it.
Hi, I'm Connor. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
Good.
What are we doing today?
Doing a podcast.
Yeah. What should we do this podcast episode about?
Talk about dogs.
What do you want to talk about, dogs?
About Angus.
Yeah? You got any good stories?
Uh-uh.
None?
That I saw, what those they're called?
I don't know.
Mule deer?
You saw what?
That I saw mule deer poop.
Oh, you did find mule deer poop today.
2.
Yeah?
I think I actually saw elk poop and mule deer.
We saw elk poop this morning.
Yeah.
You guys are always spotting stuff. Have you seen some cool animals when you're going on the road with Dad?
Yeah.
Yeah? What have you seen?
Oh, back up. And I saw a dog that was running wheels.
Yeah. Sometimes that happens. Have you seen some cool animals on the trips?
Like elk tracks.
Yeah. What did we see coming home last time? It was big and furry.
A bear.
Yeah, right by the road, huh?
Yeah.
Yep. Do you like going on road trips?
Uh-huh.
How long did it take us to get here?
2 days.
2 days?
Yes.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Are you having fun?
Yeah.
If you could say one thing to the people, what's your favoriteest thing to do on these trips?
Bring dogs.
Yeah, you just like camping with the dogs, huh? Yeah. Well, speaking of that, we should go get them taken care of, okay?
And sleeping in tent and everything.
You love all of it? How was the food this weekend?
Not the tacos, not so good.
You didn't like the tacos? What did you think of the hamburger?
Yeah.
What was the best thing Dad cooked this weekend?
Biscuits and gravy.
Boom. Yeah, buddy. We love biscuits and gravy, huh?
Yeah.
Next time we won't forget the bear sausage.
No, we're not packing stuff, Mom.
Yeah.
She forgot it.
Oh, Mom did a lot. She probably slipped her mind, bud.
Ging, 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 ging.
All right. Well, you want to say goodbye to everybody?
Bye, guys.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks. I'm gonna go take care of dogs.
All right, you go help your brother.